First, I'd like to welcome all of our attendees to the Windshire Group's Ask the Expert series, How to Leverage the Digital Revolution in Early Stage Companies, with our special guest from the Court Square Group. My name is Jen Bardsley, and I'll be serving as your moderator for today's webinar. I currently serve as the account manager slash operations manager for the Windshire Group. So I would like to note that the views expressed in this webinar are those of the panelists. It's for informational purposes only. It's not intended as legal or regulatory advice. And to introduce our panelists, we have Dr. James Blackwell, who's president and principal consultant for the Windshire Group, which was founded in 2011. The Windshire Group accelerates development and manufacturing for commercializing therapies and provides quality expertise. Dr. Blackwell has been a leading industry consultant for more than 15 years. And we also have Keith Parent, who is a founder and CEO of Court Square Group. He leads the company and the vision for using IT as a strategic enabler for life science companies from preclinical all the way to manufacturing.
The webinar today really is the marriage of the user requirements for small companies and the marriage of that and the IT structure and organization of the company. It's a very important factor. And why is this important? This is very important for small companies because it's important for them to improve their operational efficiency. People spend less time looking for stuff, and it speeds up your business processes. And you want to facilitate decision making. You want to be able to access the most current and correct information, and it increases organizational value. A disorganized information with their information all over the place can kill a deal. We've seen that happen. Due diligence and data rooms need to be well designed and populated with good information to facilitate deal making. So that can be very important to small companies. And you're creating very valuable information. And this will be important later for your regulatory filings and for compliance needs, and for your technical people who want to access and understand the history in terms of what's happening within the organization. So this helps you avoid compliance issues later, patient privacy laws, health authority issues, or potentially even SEC violations. And also it creates a more satisfied workforce. Studies have shown people are happier when they're dealing with environments that are well organized and they're able to work efficiently. Nobody wants to be in a cumbersome, inefficient, time-wasting environment. That, Jen, I think we're ready. Oh, well, we have some conclusions, and then we'll go to the questions.
Absolutely.
So we've been talking all along about doing a phase-appropriate approach, and it starts with keeping it simple. And you're setting the foundation for growth and meeting your regulatory requirements by setting that solid foundation. Take the time now, even if you're a small company, it's not difficult, and it'll pay dividends over and over again later. Keith, I know you wanted to speak to some of these topics. I don't know the skill.
Oh yeah, I wanted to make sure that people understood that you can have quality and still be an innovative company. I mean, that company I talked about earlier, where they wanted to be able to have that pivot point and be able to do things. We knew that we incorporated some of the quality aspects at that point in the process. Prior to that, they didn't need to worry about some of the different things that we had in place. But once we hit that, then it started to be audit trails and everything else that we needed to do from that point forward. You can build that into your processes as you set up as a company. We talked about best practices, and I think that you as a company have to develop your own best practices. Sometimes you take the industry ones that are there, but you look at how you do things. And I'm going to tell everybody on this call, data silos will always exist. You can't get away from it. It's inevitable, whether it's the smallest company or the very largest one. Your goal is to figure out where they are, but how do we connect them, and how do we make sure that the data is useful from one system to the next as we grow, as we scale the company. You want to get to that enterprise level, all the way from day one to when you finally get out there and do your first get your successful drug launched. The goal is to be able to put those systems in place and know that we can connect data across the spectrum of your environment.
Thanks, Keith. As a small company, if you start out by setting that culture and expectations, people will start to get it, and then they realize the importance of it. And then setting that culture early will pay off dividends, because then everyone understands what you're trying to achieve and the importance of it, and then they'll start working together, as you mentioned, Keith. So